Hello and welcome to the 10th official episode of the Heathen Wyrdos Podcast. Today we're going to talk about angering the gods. Can you do it? Well, I mean, the short answer is yeah. And the long answer is, I mean, you basically gotta try to anger the gods.
Super hard.
Yeah, like, you're not gonna, like, go out and anger the gods, like, on a whim. Anyways, with that, my name is Theo. My pronouns are they, them.
I'm Sif. My pronouns are she, her.
I'm Jay. My pronouns are she, her.
And I'm Kenna. My pronouns are also she, her.
And that little noise you hear in the background is Millie chasing her own tail.
And what are Millie's pronouns?
I assume she, her. I don't know. She's a dog.
Oh shit, you're right.
I realized that I should start paying the pet tax more often. I'm like, oh, Millie's doing all this cute shit, and people are like, Pixar, it didn't happen. Anyways, carrying on to our actual content. So it's my UPG that the gods are, I guess maybe it's SPG at this point, because we all agree. Is that how that works?
Yeah.
That's how that
Multiple
works.
people. Yeah.
So it's our SPG that gods are basically really complex individuals. You're not gonna get along with all of them, and they're not all going to get along with everyone. Like, that doesn't mean that they're out to get you or they have something personal against you. Like, you may just not be the person for them, and that's okay. You can be the juiciest peach in the world, like the entire whole wide world, and there's still going to be someone who just doesn't like peaches. So, I mean, and this also goes with, like, just because a god reaches out to you, you don't have to work with them if you're uncomfortable. Just because a god hasn't reached out to you, if you think they're cool, you can reach out to them. If you're working with a deity and you end up not feeling it, like it's just not working out for you how you need it to or want it to in your praxis, you can stop working with them. That's totally chill. But yeah. Anyways, I had to think about this list long and hard, but let's start with some surefire ways that we can think of to anger the gods. And I think the first one would be being disrespectful on purpose.
On purpose is the key word there.
Gods, I don't know. I feel they're pretty understanding. Like, communicating with deities is not a simple task. You're gonna misunderstand things. Like, as long as you're crying, like, it's whatever. But, like, if you go out and be like, I think I'm gonna talk to Odin today and I'm gonna call him a himbo, like, Odin's probably gonna take some offense to that. So, you know.
Don't call Odin or Thor daddy or zaddy, because that's just no.
What? Do people do that?
I've seen it. It's bad.
That
I would
makes
say
me a little
something,
sad.
but I'm still processing the fact that you just said those words out loud. Oh.
But that's what we mean. Like, it's got to be that level of fucked up in order to really anger the gods.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a softer line than I think quite a lot of people may have looking from the outside into heathenry. As in, it's common for people that say worship Odin as one of their main deities to, call him a bastard and all of that. But it's always with a good intention, not malicious intention. They know that there's a line there and they don't step over it. But again, you always got to think about how it is intention based. So I know that there was someone like we bumped into a few months ago that was panicking as a new heathen because their parents destroyed their altar. And they were saying that, are the gods going to be angry with me because this altar's been destroyed? This sacred space has been destroyed. And the answer is no, because it wasn't them that destroyed it and it wasn't done maliciously on their side. They're not going to be angry at you for that.
If your cats jump up on your altar and start messing around with things, know the gods aren't angry, and chances are it's probably Freya luring them.
The only deities I could think of that might be upset about something like that happening, the one I'm thinking primarily is like Santa Muerte, but there's also a lot of other stuff going on with that, and like it's I don't know, like, stuff happens. I feel like if it happened once, like, you're not going to be disavowed or have to pay a penance. It's just like, oh,
Well,
sorry that
yeah,
happened.
our gods
sorry
don't smite.
Yeah, and it's like, sorry that happened. Let me just tidy that up and we'll move on.
This also ties into the fact that we often get questions from anyone on any path of this happened, is this deity responsible, or did I anger them? And chances are that if you didn't do so on purpose, the answer is always no. And they're not ones to like curse you or make sure your life is hell. That's just not what these gods do.
They have bigger shit to worry about. God shit.
Exactly. You know, and this, I guess this ties into the whole episode, is the fact that, you know, we as humans, there's a certain element of how can you anger a god who is so much more than us. And you have to go to pretty extreme to even like have an impact on them to be like, oh, wow, that was not cool.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if we're talking about extremes, we could talk about oath breaking. That's a pretty extreme thing. Yet again, I feel like we've talked about this before, but like oaths do have a few prominent stories in the lore, and sometimes people will... Millie, if you want in my lap, just get in my damn lap. Don't bark at me. So, sorry.
Millie, as always, has feelings.
Millie is chaos, and I can't leave her outside the room, otherwise she just screams. Which is great for recording. So, anywho, oath breaking. Yes. So oaths do have a few more prominent stories in the lore. And it was a little bit more common way back in heathen times because oaths were basically like legal contracts we have nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that everyone should oath.
Quite the opposite.
Yeah, oathing should be extremely rare and very well thought out, and you should always give yourself a minimum of 1 out, if not like 5. Thank you for chuckling. But yeah, that being said, like, breaking an oath doesn't make you like be disavowed or make you like garbage to the gods. It's not the end of the world if you break an oath.
Someone I think said it best. They said, breaking an oath doesn't make you worthless, it just makes you worth less.
And you can rebuild your value.
Absolutely.
Quote unquote, in the eyes of the gods. Like, it's not, yet again, it's not the end all be all. Like,
the same way that when you break a promise to your friend, you kind of have to repair that bond. Same concept.
Yeah. It ties into the idea that in heathenry, words innately mean things. They have power. So we'll probably do an oath episode at some point, but essentially not every heathen does an oath. In fact, it's quite the opposite, and this should be taken very seriously. And obviously, as we've dropped here, oath breaking is a very serious thing in heathenry. Yeah, we'll tackle all this in a later episode.
So do any of you guys have any experiences with angering any god or gods that you've worked with?
I try my best.
And if you did, were you able to fix it?
Personal experience, I don't think so.
No, I didn't have any but I definitely had times when I was a much newer practitioner where I thought I was going to anger the gods, without a doubt. It was oh my god, I haven't done an offering in fill in the blank amount of time. They're never going to accept an offering of mine again. And we see that a lot from beginners as well. Like, I haven't made an offering in 2 weeks. Oh my god, they're going to hate me.
What is time to a god?
Yeah, exactly.
What is time to a human? Like, what?
So I feel like I have, it's with Kernunos. I did piss him off once, but it wasn't that big a deal. Like, it was when I was like in my early 20s. Like, I think I might have been maybe 22. And I kept being like, I want to become stronger in my practice. I want to become stronger. Like, help me. And kept asking that. I was dumb when I was 22, okay? I'm not saying everyone is. I was. And basically Kernunos was like, I am helping you. You also have to help yourself. I mean, it would be nice if you could just talk to a deity and be like, I want you to make me stronger. And they'd be like, cool, here's my magic wand. Boop. Like, it doesn't work that way. So it's just one of those things. But like, after Kernunos said that and I did some self-reflection, I apologized and we're fine. Right. It's fine.
I mean, now that I think about it, I've definitely had Freya, I'm gonna use the word threaten me, like stared me down for a second. Remember that time you said you weren't gonna do that? I just saw you do it, so sort it out.
Yeah.
That's her vibe.
Yeah, if we're talking about like that, then yeah, I've had a couple of times. And again, it's always Freya.
She's a hard ass.
Yeah, but she does it because she cares about you. But it's one of those, like, exactly what you said. Remember when you said you were going to do X, Y, and Z, or you weren't going to do that? I saw that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I
Mhm.
guess what you can take away from these stories is like, okay, yeah, we've upset gods and goddesses before, but like, was it a big deal? No. Like, it wasn't nothing, but it's like, it yet again, like Kenna said earlier. I don't remember which one of us said it. Where it's like having a friendship or like a relationship. Like, if you go back on your word or like kind of like take something for granted in a relationship, like the other person's probably going to be upset with you, but that doesn't mean you can't fix it.
Not upset enough to burn a bridge.
No. When we say here, can you anger the gods? There is very much, when we say that, I think people's minds go to smiting and like thunder and all that.
Yeah, I've even had people say, are the gods gonna make my life more difficult?
No.
Only if you
Yeah,
ask them to.
Yeah. Challenge me.
Don't do that.
I mean, like, that can be a consequence of, like, people have a lot of different setups with the deities they work with. That's what I'm gonna say. I don't do stuff like that in my praxis, and you don't have to. Now that we've kind of talked about what you could do to anger deities and gods, actually I'd be really curious to hear if, like, in the comments, like, has anyone else ever angered a deity they work with? And if so, like, if you feel comfortable sharing your experience, like, I'd love to hear about it.
Before we go off of how to anger the gods, I firmly am going to preface this with I don't think you can in the smiting sense.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
There's one example that makes me think I'm wrong.
Okay.
And that is being a dick on purpose and doing things like throwing mistletoe to Balder.
I don't know why you would do that to Balder.
Correct. Maybe don't offer deities a thing that is known to be their weakness or the thing that magically kills them. Just like,
Yep, that.
again, if you're pretending that the gods are our friends for it, if we're going back to that analogy, why would you give your friend who's allergic to peanuts peanut butter?
That's a better one, because I was gonna say, like, I'm allergic to tobacco, like smoke and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't eat tobacco. You probably shouldn't do that. That would be somewhat like a friend offering me, like, oh, I got you this gift, and it's like cigarettes. It's like, thank you for giving me the thing that I'm allergic to, bro. Like,
Don't be like that.
Yeah, I mean, on one side it goes to mocking, or it's purposefully not knowing anything about them.
yeah. And I'm not saying you can't walk around and find out. Like, you can. That is a path that people choose. Like, maybe do like a basic wiki search. Like,
Should I offer mistletoe to Balder?
should I offer mistletoe to Balder? And like the internet will be like, why would you do that, you fucking monster?
It's an odd choice, just put it like that. It's a choice.
Now that we've talked about, like, please don't offer mistletoe to Balder, and stuff like that, let's talk about ways that you are not going to anger the gods in any sense. I think one of them is approaching a deity before they approach you. It's totally fine to do that.
Yep.
Like,
You can always text first.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that have been really worried about that, and it's like, no, you don't have to wait.
Do some research before you do so that you know what you're doing. But you don't need to wait for 1,000 signs.
Yeah.
And you don't have to ask other people's permission
Right.
either.
You're the only person who can tell you if what you're doing is right or wrong for you.
Yeah, I think in my Hearth cult, I hadn't had a sign off previously before I reached out. Well, Freya, Air, and Scarthy. So those were totally off my own back. I was like, hey, you seem awesome.
Yeah, basically.
I would like to
Hello.
worship you.
To be friends.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Sif.
Hi.
Sif of the not golden hair.
That was me initially with Freya. I reached out to her first. I realized afterwards that there were some like random little signs,
Mm.
but that could have been, like we were talking about the other day, a confirmation bias
Yeah.
looking back on it.
Hmm.
But yeah, you don't need to wait.
Another way that you are never ever even going to remotely anger the gods is not having the correct, I hate using that word for this, not having the quote unquote correct genetics to reach out to that specific set of deities.
Mm.
No,
Yet again,
never.
cringe at using the word correct. I just can't think of a better short thing to put in there at this point in time.
Yeah, there are air quotes around that for everyone who
Yeah.
can't see this.
Yeah,
But
huge.
yeah, like gods don't give a single flying fuck about DNA at all.
No, they don't have it, so
We don't have it.
At least not as our concept of it is. But like
no.
they don't care. Like anyone who thinks they do has some other things going on in their lives that isn't related to that.
Absolutely.
Um
They don't have a race, not in our sense.
yeah.
You know, they binding them to certain geographies or genetics or DNA or whatnot is stripping them of their agency, which is a whole other kettle of fish. Is that a saying? Like half my sayings are just like, I think this is
It
something
can be a
people
British
say.
one.
I think kettle of
Kettle
fish is
of
a
fish.
saying.
Oh, okay, cool.
Usually in
can
the
be a
States we
British
use can of worms.
Oh yeah, that too. Kettle of fish. What is a
Like
kettle in this?
Barrel of
So the Google
Maybe,
says the expression a kettle of fish means a mess or a muddle.
not wrong.
Oh, okay, so that fits. That actually worked in that.
I
Okay.
did. I'm proud of you.
You go.
Thank you. Look at that, an idiom.
But yeah, so like genetics, no, they don't care. You're not going to make a god angry by not having the correct genetics. There's no need to apologize for who you are.
You're also not going to be favored for having the quote unquote right genetics.
And if anyone ever tells you that, oh, it's okay if you follow like let's say for instance the Norse deities, but if you also have like let's say Indian descent, you should maybe look into the ancestral gods of the people from that area too. No,
No.
only if you want to.
Very much stay in your lane. I hate
Yeah.
it. But in a nicer way, I hate it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like only follow deities that call to you or like feel right to you. Anyone who would suggest that to you, you might want to avoid that person because they've got some issues going on there. Anyways, another way you're not going to anger the gods is not leaving routine offerings.
What is time to a god?
I mean, yeah, it's like if you can only offer once a year, that's when you fucking offer, okay? Like,
Yeah,
that's
totally
fine.
Dude, our gods specifically, the Norse, they're fucking ancient. They're old as shit. They've been putting up with humans for so long. I think they're cool with our idiosyncrasies and our time
Well,
gaps
Mhm.
and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
we're still here, so I think we're good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and on that note, like not leaving routine offerings, not leaving air quotes here, appropriate offerings. Dude, offer what
Yeah.
you can. Like if you only have water to offer, that is entirely valid.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And I actually put notes on this one.
Yeah.
Sif has thoughts.
I have thoughts.
You do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you do.
I do have thoughts. Yeah, the way I approach that sort of idea is seeing the gods as the epitome of the what do you buy for the person that has everything. They don't have a use for material goods, so offering an Xbox or whatnot doesn't really have the same sort of sacrifices.
Yeah.
So I offer my gaming potential. So
They're not going to care.
what hits hardest for them in terms of an offering are the things that we possess a finite amount of. Things that are seen as a proper sacrifice, like time, or you're dedicating your skill, so something that you've dedicated time to perfect, or just simple thoughtfulness. So sharing your favorite drink with them while spending time with them, sharing stories, burning your art or poetry. UPG time, I've had the strongest reactions from hell by simply offering my art or a coffee and just sitting in the ritual space, enjoying that time I put aside to connect to her. To not shy away from her and her realm, but to approach with kindness, respect, and awe. And that's really how I approach all of my offerings, is what's something that I enjoy. Again, kind of seeing it as more of a kind of guest in your household or a friendship with the gods,
Yeah.
more than anything else, and going from there.
One of my favorite things to do is to basically have a meal with them. So
Mhm.
like I'll make a small plate and basically share the food that I'm eating with them. So like, you know, I in my practice I don't consume what I offer. That is, if you do consume what you offer or something, that's totally valid. It's just that's not what I do.
Same.
Like, so I'll like portion out, like if I ordered a pizza, I might put a slice of pizza on a plate as an offering and then have a meal with them, and then like just intentionally like set that time aside for them and like not hang out on my phone or watch TV or something while I'm eating. That's how I do it.
That makes total sense to me.
I just want to say this because I know people go, oh my God, water is an offering. They think it's nothing. Think about things based on, you know, if we weren't in such a modern society. Water is something you need to live.
Mhm.
Giving up even just the half a glass of water to the gods is you're literally sacrificing something you need. Yes. Can you get more of it? Sure. But it's something you need to live. So
Mhm.
giving them some water, giving them some grain, giving them a portion of your food, you're giving up something that you need to survive. So something for people to think about, because like we said, we've all seen it. But water's not enough. Yes, it is. And that's why.
There's also the kind of symbolic thing behind it. Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
No. I wanted to get that out there because I know I saw it not 2 days ago. Someone was asking about offerings for gods, and someone literally said, glass of water is fine. And they were like, how could it be fine? And we see it often.
Celebrating holidays is a rough one because if you're a Norse heathen, we have like nothing to work with there. So the perceived expectation that you will celebrate all of the historic holidays already falls flat on its face. You can, a giant nerd, and look to Anglo-Saxon heathenry to reconstruct some of the holidays we might have had. But even then, practices and holidays and scheduled dedications would have been so varied in antiquity, not even just from village to village, from house to house, neighbor to neighbor. The gods that they worshipped and when they did that would have varied so much. It is hard to claim that it matters now.
I guess it's also a point of, say, there's nothing kind of like God-given about the holidays.
Right.
There wasn't like, you must do this on this date. So there's an element of they wouldn't care because they didn't organize it, as it were. They didn't organize the party, so why would they care if you came or not, you know?
I mean, you got a point there.
I love that.
They didn't organize the party. There are some modern heathens really like using the historic day names, like the days of the week. So Thursday is Thor's Day, which is super valid and cool. Don't pressure yourself.
It's an easy way of doing it.
Super great, super easy, very intuitive, works out real well. Don't bully yourself into feeling like you have to do it.
Where's my hell day? Yeah, what is time to a... I think that kind of sums up a lot of it, is what is time to a god? What are you as a human to a god? All of that.
High key.
It's the truth.
Take the fact that we are remembering, honoring them at all is enough.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree.
Let take
there
out
was a long period there where we didn't do anything with them. So now they're just like, oh look, they're back. Took you enough time.
Hi, hello, missed you guys.
You've had a little errand. Yeah.
And the other thing with holidays too is don't feel bad if you decide to go by, say, the Wheel of the Year.
Oh yeah.
You know, if the Wheel of the Year works for you, the Norse gods aren't going to look at you and go, "Well, that's not our holidays."
I mean,
shame on you.
Right?
They'll be like, "Oh,
you can make them your own. You can follow what I do. Solstices and equinoxes,
right?
Because they're passages of time. That's why I do anything with them.
Totally makes sense.
Right.
I do
and
the
when
same.
It comes to general paganism and witchcraft, you never know what someone's practice is going to be with holidays and passages of time and whatnot. And there are gods who are very specific, like you need to do this on this day. And you know what, even in that situation, if you can't, if it doesn't feel right to you, if it doesn't vibe with you, it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I think
No.
the important thing for me, because I came into doing the Heathen Wyrdos, I tried to put myself on a schedule. I tried to do like or when that didn't work, I transitioned to trying to do something on every major moon cycle, so new moons and full moons. But if that doesn't vibe with you and you try to force yourself into it, what you're doing is making your practice less authentic. I would rather give 100% of my authentic self to the gods, even if it means like once a year, and kind of half-ass my way through it, you know?
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
I think that's a good way of looking at it. Do it when it feels good to you to do it, rather than like force yourself to do something.
Force it helps.
The sun is right in my eyes right now.
And I think doing things because you think you have to, but you really don't want to, it's not so much going to anger the gods, but the gods are going to realize it and be like, why are you doing this? You're not putting any effort into it. You just feel like you have to. When you do something for the gods, you want to do it with intention. You want to do it because you want to do it. So keep that in mind too.
And sometimes that's going to mean pushing yourself on low days to light a candle or whatever. That's not the same thing. You need to do something for yourself and for the gods, totally valid. If you know that you need to get up and take a shower and the best way to do that is to light a couple candles and pray, sure, rock and roll with it. But don't do it because you think you need to light the candles.
Yeah,
That you need to live up to a deity's expectation.
Yeah.
They're not going to mark you out of 10.
Although I would like my god score, please.
That's going on the pagan card. Your average god score.
Shameless plug. That's part of the Discord server. Is you get your pagan card.
Oh God.
You get your pagan card.
Put it in your wallet.
Yeah. On that note, a god is not going to be upset with you for taking a break from your practice.
Absolutely.
In fact, they're
time
probably.
to a god.
In fact, most gods are going to realize that you're taking your time to better yourself, and they're going to actually appreciate it. At least that's been my experience, because I've taken quite a few breaks in my practice, and the deities I've worked with were like, "Yeah, take this time, better yourself. You need a break. Do it." The gods
Absolutely.
aren't about pushing you to the point where you can't do anything. The gods are actually there looking out for you.
Yeah, because they can't, if you're broken and burnt out, then they're not going to get any offerings at all.
So yeah, it's just taking breaks is valid, and as long as you didn't make some promise that you'd do something on some day, it's fine. And even if you did that, you could talk to your deity about it, be like, I need to move this, and it should be fine. Speaking of talking to your deities, a deity is not going to get upset with you if you ignore them or don't respond to them for a while. It's okay to leave a deity on red.
To use my friend's analogy, sometimes you text your friends or you send them a meme on Instagram or whatever, they don't respond. That doesn't mean you're not friends anymore. It means they're probably busy.
Right.
And even when they don't respond, at no point do you sit there and go, I think that they hate me and we're never going to be friends again. No, they just didn't respond to your text. It's fine.
I've definitely
Promise.
had that before with Air.
Absolutely.
Very much.
Air's a busy
Air
lady.
feels busy. Yep. Very, very running around. Got, everything is happening at once. Medical attention needed and all that.
Mm-hmm.
She's very busy, and I've definitely been left on red by her.
She's like, I'll be back.
Yep.
Every once in a while, I end up with the equivalent. When you send a message on Instagram or Facebook, you can react to it with a heart or whatever, and you get a little notification that says your friend liked your message. But you don't get an actual response.
Yep.
I get that a lot.
I see you, but I'm busy.
Mhm.
Very that.
Thanks.
Thank you for the heart.
Moving on from not leaving a deity on red. You can also you don't have to do everything a deity asks of you. You just don't have to.
That goes back to the consent going both ways.
Yeah.
Think about consent in the mortal realm, and you think about it in the mundane sense. Consent is continually given.
Right.
It's not It's not a, okay, I said yes, that's it. I can't say no to anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
It's, I said yes to this, and then I said yes to this, and then I said, maybe not on that.
Right.
I mean, in that, like, I'll tie in another point we have on here to this. You can set boundaries with the deity.
Oh, 100%. You can and you should.
Yes.
I added that because I seem to see a lot of baby heathens, baby pagans, or even some older pagans, like, they're like, no, you have to do it because the deity asked you. And it's like,
No.
I feel like that's some, like, who coined the term latent Christianity? Some content creator we all know. Anyways, so
It's a super fun mix of latent Christianity and weird psychology.
right? Where it's like, I'm sorry, like, why would you not be able to set a boundary? If you have a deity,
Like, these are the heathen gods.
if you have a deity you feel is pushing against your boundaries, like that you aren't asking to do that, or you feel like they don't respect your boundaries, stop working with them. Yeah, like, no, that's not how that works.
I always go back to this idea of, I guess, as you said, latent Christianity. You know, there's quite a few stories in the Bible of do this my way or the highway. And the heathen gods are not like that. They do enjoy people having agency of themselves and not being blind worshippers in that
Right.
sense. They like to challenge you. They like to push your boundaries a little bit. Not in my experience, they've never pushed back hard when you've said no. They've been like, okay, I'll step back for now.
Best analogy I can think of is finally standing up to your mentor to prove that you are on something of a
Yeah.
level playing field with them. It is an earning of respect for the gods to you, because the gods do respect us as people with agency. They know that we're human people with desires and things. And when you can, at least in my experience, when I was able to say, hi Freya, that's a lot, she went, oh, all right, cool, you figured it out. Nice. It's a weird acknowledgement of, look at you actually doing what I want you to do. They're pushing you so you can fight back. In my experience, that one time.
Though I saw that a lot with the Valkyries, and during the Valkyrie episode, I shared my UPG that I had with them and how it was overwhelming to the point where I had to take a step back. And in that sense, that was me setting a boundary against the Valkyries, which seems
Feels insane, right?
The pointy bitches were like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like, oops. And then I kind of approached them more carefully because they were loud to begin with. And that was, again, me saying, this is a lot. I'm going to have to take a step back for now, but I will be back, just not
Please
yet.
hold.
Please hold. I'll be on red for a little while. And, you know, that didn't impact my relationship with them in that regard. You know, obviously they're part of my house cult now and still, and probably will be for the rest of my life. Hopefully they're a cool force to have around. I definitely didn't get anger from them. In fact, if anything, they felt like they knew what their presence was like. And they were like, we accept this. We're a lot.
Eternally ourselves. Also, sorry we gave you a headache.
Yeah, like, sorry we, you know, gave you like heart palpitations. That wasn't our intention. Okay, cool.
I mean, but that's the thing, though, is like, I swear to God, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this tiny dog. Anyways, that's the thing, though. It's just like, oh shit, that wasn't my intention, but I'm sorry that I did that. In my UPG, that's a common response. Like, feeling I get from them, like, if like something like that was to happen, it's like, oh yeah, that I didn't mean for that to be exactly what happened, but also like, I'll try the harder.
Yeah, they can kind of underestimate how potent they are sometimes to our little.
Sad little human.
Yeah, like, yeah, Freya sometimes feels very hot, warm, passionate, and like just this force that just explodes sometimes. And then softens.
Freya is the equivalent of taking a bite of
A ghost
something.
chili, or whatever it's called.
Like you
Ghost pepper.
expected it to be a medium salsa and then ghost pepper.
God,
I was thinking Pop Rocks.
Pop Rocks is a
Yeah.
Hannah, you muted yourself.
guess one of my things was falling and I didn't want it to be annoying.
Okay, sorry. I was like, you were talking, and I was like, I'm
Wow.
not sure what happened, but you're on mute now.
Yes.
Millie!
I know what I'm doing most of the time.
But like those really powerful moments are, as rare as they are, kind of for my latent atheism, quite affirming.
We've established that the gods are intense sometimes, and setting boundaries is good,
Yes.
and you can leave them on red.
Yes.
On that note,
You're not going to anger them. There you go.
asking stupid questions.
There are air quotes around.
Yep. Okay, asking what someone might interpret as a stupid question.
I know stupid questions.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
you should do some like your own research into things and like read the lore. Like the only time I could even think of a question sounding quote unquote stupid is if you just keep asking the same question over and over and over again. Like, and yet again, that might not be a stupid question. That might just be like, you're not understanding the answer. And that's
Right.
okay. Like
Yeah.
that happens. But like, you know, maybe if that's happening, like adjust your question, ask more than one question. Like, or you know, give it time. I mean, there aren't really stupid questions, but like if you're not understanding something, like think deeper on that question and like try to work through it and maybe extrapolate on it.
There's definitely an element of, I don't want to say all of it is guesswork, it's certainly not. Well, from my perspective, the recon perspective, I'm trying to practice as closely as possible to how they would have done it. But again, 50% of it is guessing. So asking stupid questions, asking questions full stop is totally normal. I ask the gods questions quite a lot. Just like, am I doing this right? is this what you expect? I don't know. And kind of use intuition to pass what any response I get. So in that regard, there isn't any stupid questions because we don't have solid answers. We can have vague pointing in the right direction, like maybe have a look over here is what you'll get. So in that case,
So there's also that aspect of like ask 6 heathens a question, get 50 answers.
I like how that number grows every time we say
It does.
that.
Like,
Get 10,000 answers.
get all the
Literally.
answers. The
It's
answers
so
never stop coming. Eternal answers. But I mean, it's just because, like, yet again, we don't have set in stone answers to a lot of our questions, and that's okay. It's valid. I mean, it's what we got. So
It's all we can do.
it's what we got. I don't know what else you want. I don't have anything else for you. Yeah. So it is all related to personal interpretation.
Right. And on that note of stupid questions, you're not going to annoy a deity if you like mildly interrogate them because you're full of latent atheism, Christianity, or whatever it is that makes you feel like you're not 100% sure on anything.
Yeah.
You can ask Aphrodite literally 69 times if it's her, and she'll
Nice.
probably still say, yeah,
Did you?
motherfucker.
Nice.
Nice.
You put it out there. I took the bait.
I like how you landed on 69
Yep.
there for Aphrodite. Wow.
If I did that on purpose.
I
wonder if
was
she's
pretty
gonna
sure
smite
you
me for
did, and
that.
no, she won't smite you. She's probably laughing her ass off.
Yeah, I would
Um,
imagine.
But
Yes, I guess that was just a quick one then. The gods have humor.
They do.
but they do.
They have a sense of humor.
Oh, they do.
I feel like asking gods, like as Kenna said, like on interrogating the gods in a sense, like I think they would find it more humorous than anything else.
Yeah.
As long as you're not.
They like a little bit of. Is the
Banter.
word moxie? Is moxie a word? They like a bit of moxie.
Yeah,
That's
a
like
little
1950s.
banter. A little bit of...
Yeah.
But what about
just-
this? And they're like, well. Anyway, that was my my horse laugh. Don't know why that came into play. Welcome to this episode of Heathen Wyrdos where Theo is interesting. Anyways,
You're always interesting, though.
but, like you have to like the connotation where it's like, oh, that's interesting. It's what they do a lot in the area that I live in to say that they hate something.
Charming.
No, we do it up here too.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. It's pretty universal. Like, oh, that's interesting, and it's like, oh, thanks, love it.
That's the it's the northern equivalent of bless your
It
heart.
is.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Oh, bless. Anyways, I mean, we
Bless
say
your
that
heart,
here
Noah,
too.
yourself.
Anywho, so like, yeah, the deities definitely have a sense of humor, and so like the universe is a really complex and strange place. Existing is interesting. To tie into that, you know what the deities aren't going to be upset with you about? Having a different UPG than anyone else.
Yes, it is okay to not be like everybody else.
They're not going to be upset if you don't have any UPGs.
Ooh.
Like that's fine. Like, or if you have endless issues interpreting UPG. Okay. You know, I've said this before. I'm sure that we were gonna have to put it on a shirt sometime. But it's like, you know, for me, like, you leave me a trail of breadcrumbs, I'm gonna fucking lose it. I'm not gonna see that shit. Like, come on. What are you talking about? You basically have to leave me bread loaves pretty closely
We really.
spaced, and like a sign that also is like, follow the damn bread loaves that way, you dick. Like, yeah, just anyways. I mean, that's how I feel about it, where it's like,
Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that you're not wrong if you don't have major UPG experiences. That's not the gods being mad at you or anything. They're not like withholding you from like the super secret club. It's just not all that common.
well, and also like it might just be. I personally think that deities interact with you in a way that is acceptable for you,
Right.
like
Mm-hmm.
baseline. And if they don't, you can tell them to stop. That's fine. All right, I feel like we finished our list. Is there anything else you guys can think of? Like ways that you're definitely not going to anger a deity? Oh, I thought of one. You're not going to anger a god by working with another god.
Oh,
goodness.
yes.
Let's play
Big one.
mythic literalism just for a minute.
I mean,
Yeah.
there are deities that don't want to work together in one setting necessarily. Probably like Fenrir and Odin probably wouldn't be besties. I'm assuming that right now. I don't know because I've never tried it. Like, but like you can work with both deities. That's fine.
Yeah, there's definitely not like all the idioms today. No, wait, it's I'm getting stuck between grapes and jelly. I mean, if you, when someone's jealous of something else. No, I was getting stuck between like green jelly monster and poison grapes. No, that's not it.
Sif, what's a green jelly monster?
I don't know, like, you know, when you have like green monster
You mean Slimer?
envy.
Gumsy?
I'm talking more like envy,
Oh,
or
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Green with
Or,
envy.
like,
Yeah. Yeah,
or
yeah.
Jealousy?
or the grapes. Spoiled grapes? Nope. I will get it. Something to do with grapes.
Rotten grapes?
Idioms with grapes in it. Carry on.
Are you Googling it right
Yep.
now? I'm proud of you.
Idioms with grapes.
Your mom?
Maybe it's not a grape. It's sour grapes. Oh my god.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I got it. Okay.
Okay.
It's green with envy or sour grapes. Where did Jelly Monster come from?
I don't know. I think that's why we think
Okay.
that's all like jelly, like jealousy monster.
That might
And
actually
your brain
be
was
it.
like, yeah, they're
Christ.
mad jelly,
Okay.
bro.
Yeah, you're green with envy.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
yeah,
get it.
they don't have that dynamic, as in, you know, that's us humanness planting feelings onto them, and if we don't go by the law, or you know, we don't be mythic literalists, then often there's no reason for two gods to be angry at each other because the story might not have happened.
Yeah.
Especially if we go into Ragnarok, as in, you know, was Fenrir bound? Has Ragnarok happened? Etc. Etc. Chances are that, you know, potentially there is no beef between Odin and Fenrir.
Yeah.
Maybe, or maybe there is. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, they're not going to get angry for
It's
you,
not
a
me.
human, worshipping one and the other, because again, there's an extent of why would they be angry with a human that's worshipping both? They're gods.
Oh,
You don't in the grand scheme of things, you don't matter that much to them that they get angry about
Yeah.
it.
And so I don't think any of us are mythic literalists.
No, not at all.
Nope.
Kenna? Kenna?
Just
Yes.
the static had disappeared. Oh, hello.
Hi. Are you a mythic
Did I glitch?
literalist?
You're not a mythic.
Bitch. No.
You did.
Did? Cool. Right.
Are you a mythic literalist?
God, I hope not.
Interrogate. Interrogate Kenna.
Yet again, we have to read the lore with a lot of discernment because it was written by Christians later. Well, Saxo-Christian?
Yeah.
Okay. That seems right. Maybe not being like, I've read the lore, this is exactly what happened.
Oh.
Instead of like, okay, so we can get things like Thor had a hammer. Loki caused mischief, but also was a very valued member in that society. Like Loki was a blood brother of Odin. Like we can gather that like Odin likes to learn and is very dedicated to that and whatnot. Like those are things we can gather. Like, so I don't know. I've been rambling. I've lost my original point. Yeah, mythic literalism.
The original point. The point is that it's not going to piss him off by offering to two deities that mythologically may or may not have gotten along.
Oh, thank God, thank you.
That's the point.
Yeah, that was the point.
That was the point.
And
I'm going to expand on that point and say you're not going to piss him off if you offer to two different pantheons that may or may not historically have gotten along.
Yeah.
It's fine.
they don't care about what you yourself do individually as a human.
I mean, and if a
respect.
deity cares about you working with a different deity, they'll let you know.
Also, there is, in heathenry at the very least, which I can speak on, having an altar space to say, Odin and Fenrir is not going to piss them off. As in, one altar for Odin and Fenrir. It's just not a thing in heathenry to have anything bad happen if gods share an altar space.
Hot take. So I have practice with hell. We all know this. I don't separate hell from my main altar.
I do, but only because I ran out of space.
Okay, see, but that's valid.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, we need a new altar for you. You're getting your own space.
Yeah. But if it came time and there was enough room on the altar with hell on it, and you added another, you had another deity, would you put it on that altar?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's fine.
Yeah.
I just know there are some heathens that are like, oh, you should separate that. You should wear a mask when you work with hell to hide yourself from death and stuff. And I'm like, throw caution to the wind.
You're like, I don't want to, so I won't.
Yes.
Right.
There's definitely a case of, whilst I feel that is entirely valid, my thoughts go to kind of leaning a little bit too much into death is something to be afraid of.
Yeah. I agree.
Which I feel that's not my relationship with hell.
Same.
So I wear a mask during my Hellsblut, but that's just because I want to be dramatic and awesome. And, like the candle.
That's so valid.
Yeah.
It's like this is special. I'm putting a mask on and kind of like getting a little bit dressed up to make it a little bit different to my other rituals.
Your Plague Doctor mask.
I have worn the Plague Doctor mask during a ritual.
I love it.
I also have a wolf skull mask that I wear and a normal human skull mask that I wear as well. Again, just to kind of, it's so dramatic, but I feel like it makes it a little bit different to what I normally do. So that's again, it's a little bit like the psychological cue sort of thing.
Yeah, totally.
Whereas I normally do ritual in just my normal clothes, it's very little pomp and all that. But if I'm doing a ritual based around a holiday or whatnot, I tend to put a little bit extra in there just to be like, okay, this is different. I'm gonna just make it dramatic as heck.
Yeah, just lean in. I love that.
Totally valid.
Love it. All right. I feel like we have covered everything we meant to. That
think so.
Seems right. Kenna, would you like to recap?
Love to recap. This is my favorite part. I'm going to purposely not look at our chat because you guys are going to distract me. I can feel it.
Give away.
No,
give away.
No gifts. Okay, so can you anger the gods? Hint, no. That's the whole recap. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
No.
I mean, it's true.
It's true. Yeah, no, you're not going to anger the gods. There are ways to work. Breaking oaths would be one of them, but again, worth less, not entirely worthless. You are not going to anger the gods because you're not genetically sound enough to worship them. That's folkism and trash. We're not going to anger the gods if you don't leave the right offerings at the right time. That's not a thing. You're not going to anger the gods because you don't celebrate heathen holidays. That's not how that works. Taking a break will never anger the gods. Asking questions, setting boundaries, asking them first. You're not going to anger them by sending the first text or reaching out first. You're not going to anger them because your UPG doesn't line up with someone else's UPG. You're not going to anger the gods unless you try.
Really hard.
Really hard.
Really
Yeah.
hard.
Don't offer mistletoe to Balder. Maybe.
That's basically straight up throwing hands, okay? Like, don't throw hands, you'll be fine, you know?
Yeah, don't get in a fist fight and you're not going to get punched.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
But that is a lot
Anyways.
of gifts.
But there are no gifts. Sorry. Sif and I
TLDR. Then are goblins.
Sif and I have
Gently.
been plaguing the chat with skeleton gifts.
TLDR is that you're not
They're
going to
great.
anger the gods unless you really put effort into it. Like, you have to plan it, long game it. You're going to try to piss a god off.
Yep.
And we don't recommend you trying.
Don't? Yeah.
This is one of This is one of those times where fuck around and find out. No, don't fuck around.
No,
I mean,
not worth
you
it.
live your life how you want. Don't
Take
blame.
no responsibility
recommend
for the finding out that you do if you decide to fuck around in this way.
We warned you. If you do it, we have no responsibility.
But if you're just out here living your life, doing your best, being the best pagan that you can be under your circumstances with your spoons, you're good. In just about every context.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, and a quick mention of where was that weird kind of all Christians trying to hex someone or something
What?
like that?
What?
Yeah, there was a Reddit post or
I don't-
something. And they were trying to get like God to do the Christian God to do something to a pagan God. Yeah, that's not gonna anger them. They're gonna find
Oh,
that
Oh
funny.
yeah, there was
remember
that
that.
time that Witch
Yeah,
Talk
they'll
tried
probably laugh.
to hex Allah.
What?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that was
That's
another
rude.
thing.
Witch
Yeah,
Talk
that
was gonna
it, yeah.
hex Allah. That was hilarious and real bold.
Why would you do that?
Witch talk likes to hex random shit that they shouldn't be messing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
It won't work in
yeah.
that sense.
I'm not
Big
gonna
Doc is
say that hexing a god is gonna piss him off, but I can say that if you tried to like hex Freya, she would just laugh at you.
Yeah. Like, or maybe not even register it was happening anyway.
It's just like, huh?
It's like, what? What's
Felt a
this?
tickle on my shoulder.
Literally, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. We'll words. I won't come up with another idiom. It's fine.
You sure?
Or if we sit here, I will be coming up
Okay,
with another
okay.
idiom.
Now that Sif is threats, damn it. Now that Sif is promising things in the form of threats, we should wrap up. We've been here for a while. We've been rambling. I'm not apologizing. Yeah. Well, remember, our Discord server is free. Please join us. I'd love to see people there and talk to them and shit, because that's fun. And don't forget to weave the connection between the like, subscribe, and bell button. And remember, keep heathenry weird.
Yay.
Did it. Oh my
we did
god.
it.